today's another day, getting closer to the holidays, and we're gonna make something that was one of my family's favorites, and it's called Spaetzle. You all know what Spaetzle is. Well, for our family, Spaetzle meant another thing. And the grew was when my son was in high school and he took German. And of course, when the International Day came where they had a little banquet, each person had to bring a dish of their nationality to this little banquet time. And so there was all kinds of dishes. And so I called my father and I asked him, how do you make Spaetzle? So I learned this recipe over the telephone, and I kind of just recreated my own, but this is what I did. I'm going to do two ways, the way we did it at home, and then the way that I did for my son to bring, so that he would bring a traditional German-made Spaetzle dinner. Because in my father-in-law's country, and the way he grew up, he told me that his mother would make the Spaetzle by hand, not with a machine, and used a spoon and a knife, and she would always make it with mushrooms and onions. So what I did, instead of, because I've done onions too, I thought, well, let me try it this time. I bought some shallots, which is nothing other than a combination of onion and garlic. It's a hybrid, and it's very spicy. It's hot. You don't really need a whole lot. I may be using more than you probably need for this dish, but we like a lot of spice. So I've got the shallots cut up. I'm going to turn my cast iron pan on, start getting this warm. I have a pot, as you can see, boiling here of water, because that's what we're going to drop our Spaetzle into later. And I'm just going to put some good old extra virgin olive oil in my cast iron skillet. And then what I did is I bought some of these petite Baby Bell mushrooms. And I just started cutting away at them because they're so tiny and petite. I thought they would be kind of cute with our shallots. And what I'm going to do, and what I did years ago for my son Tim when he brought this dish to school, I am going to put some butter and a little olive oil. I put the olive oil in. I'm going to put some butter in, but I'm going to wait. And then we're going to just saute together the shallots and the mushrooms. You don't have to use the Baby Bell, but I thought these would be kind of cute. They're tasty. They're a little different. Probably years ago, I know I didn't. I think I used those little white snowcat mushrooms. Those were kind of the ones that we used. There we go. So we've got our dish. We've got our shallots all cut up. I'm going to see how our oil's doing here. Probably should have gotten it on a little sooner. Scoop up my shallots in my little neat scooper. This is one of my newer gadgets. It's a Wilton product, and I just love it. Actually, you can scoop it all the way to the inside here. It has a measure. If you scoop it down there, it's got a 1/4 measure and a half, so that's a good half cupper right there. And we'll bring it over here to our, did you hear that sizzle? Oh, it's starting to just brown nicely. I'm going to get a little butter. I got a couple tablespoons of butter we'll put in there with the oil. And that's looking really nice. Boy, that gets transparent pretty quickly. Look at that. Look how nice that looks. Okay, and now we're going to dump all of our Baby Bell mushrooms in it. Oh, that smells wonderful. And we're going to just let these guys simmer together. And remember, this is going to be added to the Spaetzle we're going to make. As soon as I get this simmering, I just lower it a little bit. Now this is going to be ready for our one. I'm going to put a little bit of salt. We do want to salt and pepper, black pepper, shallots and mushrooms. Yeah, we'll just let that kind of simmer nicely together. And then back here, what I did, this is for this other dish. These are just some green string beans that I made. I just boiled them really quickly with some hot water, and then I'm going to add a little bit of my oil to this as well, and some salt. And I'm also going to add one more ingredient. And remember, the one with the green beans was what we would have, my creation at night. Once a week we would have beans and Spaetzle, we call them. And I'm putting some basil for flavor. I'm kind of taking the German and I'm giving it just a little bit Italian flavor. We like to, I figured if I married a German and I'm Italian, we'll marry our food together as well. So that is our bean mixture. And we're just about done. These do not take long to simmer, just to get soft. And we just got them on low. Now we're going to come over here, take my big bowl here, and to this bowl I'm going to add 3 eggs. Those are the best. And just stir those. Put some salt, whatever amount you want, to your egg mixture, and some black pepper. Now, Spaetzle to us. Remember, I got this recipe from my wonderful father-in-law, who is long gone now. He was a wonderful baker, and he was a pretty good cook in the different things he liked. He had lots of hobbies. And baking bread, he was a baker, like I said, and he used to love to bake bread. And my husband got some really good recipes to make bread. And the Spaetzle, it's just, he said, just pour some flour in the egg. So I'm like, okay. So here's the half a cup. We'll see what that does. Because what you want to do with the Spaetzle is get it not so that it's so runny, because we are going to drop this into the boiling water. So we want to mix it really well. Still soupy. So guess what? We're going to add another cup, or half a cup, I'm sorry, of flour. Just turn this down. It looks like, yep, everything's going okay over there. And we're just going to stir this in until it gets into a, not quite a ball, because you know what? We're not going to be rolling it out. Now that is a little bit, just a little bit too thick. So I'm going to add maybe a quarter of a cup. So we've got what, a cup and a quarter maybe? Yeah, maybe a cup would have been good, because we don't want it too thick. There we go. Get that all nicely mixed together. See how it's kind of stretchy, stringy? That's the texture we're looking for. Okay, there we go. Now I've got my trusty old knife. I'm going to take the lid off my pan, put her back up there. I'm going to take a tablespoon. It's just kind of scoop it up, okay? And now if I wanted to, I could drop the whole thing down, but I'm not. I'm just going to let it kind of fall down, just a piece at a time, kind of help it down, cut some off as it's falling. I probably could have done this a little bit thinner. I could add probably a little bit of water, but these will just be a firmer noodle, that's all. And just, he said, as it falls off, you want to just cut it off with your knife. So we probably got a little too much flour. I think if you were to add just 1 whole cup, probably would have done the trick. See, it's dripping off. Just kind of help it off with the knife just to make pieces. And we had so much fun. The kids really like this meal. Take them out as soon as they come to the top. They're kind of, Spaetzle is German for what us Italians call gnocchi, which we have made. And they also are on my website. And they come to the top. There you go. So, look at all we have. And this is what I'm going to do. We're going to divide this up. And just take your fenestrated spoon. You want to take them out a little at a time, drain the water. You don't need to put it through a colander because you need to keep going in the water here. All right, excellent. We'll put our green beans that have been bathed with a little bit of basil and olive oil. And I'm just going to drizzle some olive oil on top of each plate. Stir it together. Look at that. Look how marvelous that looks. Probably add just a wee bit more of the mushrooms and shallots in that one, depending on, and what's nice about this, however much you like them, you could just add the perfect amount to each dish. And here's the beans and Spaetzle. That's what we called it. Beans and Spaetzle. This is the Italian version of our Spaetzle. And this was the traditional German recipe that my son, we made a nice big casserole and he brought it to his school and we all ate there and we got so many compliments from it. And it was just for my simple father-in-law's household way back in Germany that we got this recipe from. I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to be the first here to taste it with the shallots because like usually I make it with onion. That's delicious. Nice. Let's try this one. Oh yeah. From Germany to Italy. Enjoy.